All right, I'm Chris Moore with Chesapeake Bay Foundation. We're here today with Ryan Croxton of the Rappahannock Oyster Company. We're talking about our new 10 million oyster goal for the Chesapeake Bay, and a big part of that is growing oysters through aquaculture methods. And Rappahannock Oyster Company has been an innovator in that method and you can get the fruits of their labor throughout the Richmond area as a result of their efforts. So I want to turn it over to Ryan and talk a little bit about your company, how you got started, and where you are now.
So we got started as total novices to it. Our great-grandfather had actually started an oyster company, Rappahannock Oyster Company, back in 1899, which passed to our grandfather. And then my cousin and I, Travis, came in 2001, 10 years after my grandfather had passed away, and kind of wrapped up the company. So it had gone defunct for about 10 years. And we came into it with a nice break that gave us an opportunity to kind of step back and reassess, because they'd been doing the traditional harvest methods of dredging and so forth that had kind of led us to a situation that was pretty dire in 2001. So we were trying to find something more positive. We looked around the country. We started seeing aquaculture was just such a great, ray of hope for the industry, that we started experimenting with that, talking to the folks at VIMS who were super helpful with giving us techniques and giving us science background, which we lacked, to really start experimenting. And we were very fortunate in that it really turned around pretty quickly.
One of the things that Chesapeake Bay Foundation has been really focused on is ensuring the health of our waterways throughout the Commonwealth. But also we think the 10 Billion Oyster Campaign can help continue to move that forward as well, because oysters are filter feeders and they help clean the water. But can you talk a little bit about how important water quality is to your business and how differences in water quality make for different products?
Well, it's kind of the beauty of this industry is that that's kind of the check on us to make sure that we stay, or that's what was appealing to me, is that it was a very ethically motivated decision to get into oystering, because you were doing something so good. And water quality is obviously essential to us being able to do anything that we do. So that comes from an honest place with us, but it's an imperative on anybody who steps into the industry. So whether you come from it with a good feeling like you want to do it for the sake of doing it right, it really doesn't matter at this point, because it is a resource that has to be preserved and maintained to be able to do what we do.
Right. So we've been talking a little bit. You've got some oysters so we can see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
Let's look at a couple of those.
So, one of the characteristic things that we love about aquaculture is that it really allows you to create some uniformity to an oyster, which at the end of the day is not going to make it taste necessarily any better. It's definitely going to be a lot more aesthetically pleasing, but it also offers a lot more consistency when you're purchasing something, so you're not buying stuff that's this big and this big and this big. So with aquaculture, with all that tumbling, it's able to shape the animal, so you still get a little bit more roundness to it than you find in nature. In nature, they're going to be much more fluted. They're much more designed to get at food and survive than they are to just feed. These guys get to sit kind of fat and happy, and food is kind of brought across them. But again, a lot of it is just going to be aesthetic, but also where you put them in the water column, where you put them in the river is also going to affect the meat quality. The plumpness of it, whether you give them good oxygen, good food, all those things are obviously going to be a byproduct of culture. One of the things we did early on, knowing that we wanted to get as many people involved in this as possible, was we created this oyster called the barcat oyster, which is sort of it's a co-op oyster. It's a commodity oyster, if you will. And the idea was really to get folks who didn't know a lot about aquaculture into aquaculture, or for folks who were in aquaculture but were doing it whether it was small time or had excess, just gave them a market that they didn't have to worry about. So it gave us the ability to sell something at a lower price because we weren't necessarily having to grow it all. The idea really was to keep a lot of different people in business and in different scales, so they could be in as an individual who still wanted to do nothing more than they did before, which is sell at the dock, or someone who wanted to carry to a couple of restaurants, or someone who wanted to maintain accounts themselves. I think there's room for everybody to play in this arena, and I think we need all those different elements as well to kind of get that economy of scale.
Rappahannock Oyster Company is one of the partners in the 10 Billion Oyster Campaign. They've been one of the most successful aquaculture companies in Virginia and have expanded into a whole lot of other things, restaurants and things like that, as a result of their success. We hope that's something that we can make other businesses successful as a result of this campaign, and also improve the number of oysters in the water for all of us to enjoy, but also improve the health of the bay as well.